Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of MoFutbol, where we talk from grassroots all the way to the pros. And today we have a special guest where we will be talking more of MLS Next, which help develop kids that inspired to go to either college or to the pros. But we have Coach Jonas Perez Murillo, a coach that has born in Spain and made his way to the US to come and help youth development. So we'll just talk about his history from going from Spain to his little time in Mexico and now in LA to help develop one of the best club in MLS Next for the past 20 years or so. So Coach Jonas, how are you doing today?
Hi, Musa. Thank you so much for having me. I'm doing great.
Excellent, excellent. So yes, just speaking a little bit about your history. So could you tell us a little bit about you coming from Spain? And tell us a little bit of the culture that you bring in with you.
Yes, my football journey has three main chapters: Spain, Mexico, and the US. And I love to say that I was born and raised in Spain, developed in Mexico, and improved in the US. So that is in short words. But obviously, my love for soccer started in Spain when I was a kid. Soccer was all around at school, on the street, at home, uh, everywhere. I remember that when I was a kid, back then we went to school twice a day. So we went in the morning and also in the evening. It was from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. and then again from 3:30 to 5:30 p.m. In that gap between 1:30 and 3:30, I just go home, get some food, and then go back to school just to play on the patio with the players, with their friends. All was about soccer. And after the school, we practiced with our school team. So everything was about soccer. Even at home, I remember we lived in an apartment, and I used to play with my brother using like a soccer ball made of socks. A lot of socks to put together like a soccer ball, and we play in the hallway. The door of the restroom was one goal. The door of another room was the other goal, and we play 1v1 over there. Also, a school was talking about soccer all the time. Did you watch the game yesterday? So everything was related to soccer. That was the culture I grew up.
Absolutely,
And
yeah.
yes, I left 3 minutes walking distance to the stadium. I don't know if you see yesterday Barcelona was in the Santander,
Yes.
but I live in Santander, and it took me 3 minutes to go to the stadium. So everything was soccer.
So it was like not even thinking about soccer. It was just part of the culture and the community. So it's I think it's almost one of those things where it's you don't even think about it. It's just a fabric of your community.
Correct, correct. It's all about soccer.
And yes, and so and you mentioned the culture of like putting socks and goals. And I grew up in France, so a lot of our city, right? You have the high rise, and then you have kind of the soccer pitch right in the middle, surrounded by buildings. So could you tell us a little bit of the upbringing, like you mentioned, of when you were playing soccer? Did you ever think that you were playing soccer, or was it just we just played and it happened to be soccer?
It was at the beginning was just play, enjoying the game, and obviously dreaming. Right, I remember my first idol was Ruud Gullit.
Okay.
So back then, Milan was the best team, and for me, Ruud Gullit, the number 10. So I wanted to be him, of course, right? Um, um, I didn't know that I was going to make a living on soccer. Back then, obviously, when I grew up, I my dream was to become a soccer player, a professional soccer player. And then I found out coaching, which I love. I love coaching.
And so during your formative years, was there a moment where you decided, maybe I won't be a player, but now more of a coach? Was there a moment that clicked?
Yeah, that was a transition, and I think back then it was even harder because was a moment where if you wanted to be soccer player, that was your only option, which is a mistake, right? Nowadays, it changed. Players have other pathways like college soccer, or they can do both at the same time. Back then was like a choice. You go this way or you go this way. So I started playing soccer. I play in Spain in the youth level. Then I moved to Mexico. I also play in the youth level in Mexico and in the professional level. Then I had an opportunity to came to the US in 2000 or 2001 for 10 months to play in the PDL. It was similar to the US back then, not the same, of course, but it was similar. I came to play. There was a moment where I say, it's enough. It's enough. I will not make it. I play second division. That was the highest level. I made it, and I made that decision. I met my wife. We got married. We have our first kid. Then I say enough. So I will not make it. But the thing was that just before coming to the US, while I was playing in Mexico, I started coaching, but not like thinking that I was going to be a coach. I just was, I was just trying. I like it. But then when I moved to the US to play in the PDL, I stopped coaching. I came here, I played for 10 months, then I went back. And one day I received a call from a private school in Mexico, a very important private school in Mexico. And they called me. And in Mexico, they call profe to the coach. Profe
Okay.
is like teacher. So when you call somebody professor, it can be the teacher or can be the coach. So they called me from that school and they asked me, "Is there a Professor Jonas?" And I say, "I'm Jonas, but I am not a professor. I am not a teacher." So I was like surprised, and they told me, "Well, we are from this school, and we know that long time ago, well, not long time ago, but like 1 year ago, you had a soccer club, and we want to interview you because there might be an opportunity for you in our school." But for me, it was like, so I was not even looking for it. Okay. In my plans was not even coaching. So I went there. I got the job. I start feeling it's something that like this is for me. I really enjoy this. I really like this. They gave me a group of girls, and we start playing. Um, we become national champions. So it
Nice.
was like unbelievable. It was hard. There was a process. We represent Mexico and Brazil. So it was very rewarding because when I took the skills, it was like the first time playing soccer,
Right.
and I had no knowledge, but I had a lot of passion and commitment. I was honest with everybody, so I was trying to do my best. So with this girl, we start playing locally. And one day I was watching the TV with my son. He was watching Disney Channel, and my wife and I were watching with him the TV. And Disney had a competition in the past called Disney Cup. It's a different Disney Cup that the one is here. That was like a futsal, five-size soccer tournament. It was everything sponsored by Disney, no cost, no nothing. And they were looking for a champion in every country, and they play in South America like a little World Cup. Okay,
Nice.
so
Awesome.
that was something huge. So we didn't know about the tournament, but when I saw the program on TV, I saw the law. I said, I think we can make it with my girls. We can make it over there. I'm gonna investigate. I'm gonna do a research and to see how we can participate in that tournament. And my wife, who always support me, I know you can do it. So that was like the first step. I went to the school. I talked to the parents. We prepared the team for 1 year to go to the tournament. Um, the tournament was for 12 years old girls, and my team was 11. So we were
Okay.
one play down.
Right.
We went and we reached the final, and we lost the final. But then we came back the next year. We won everything, and we went to Brazil. So that was something important. That was like my uh, starting point.
Okay.
And we worked hard and together to achieve that. Um, that's the moment I decide I'm gonna be a coach, and then I start looking how to become better coach, and that was the starting point as a coach. That's the moment that I say no more playing and now coach.
And it looks like that success kind of helps fuel that passion. So, what would you say is one of the skills that you've kind of had as a player that helped you as the coach that you are now?
Me as a player and now as a coach, I think discipline. I'm very disciplined, and there is a word I love it in English. There is no word in Spanish. Grit.
Okay. Yep. Good. Yes.
Grit. I love it. I love it. I think that define uh, me as a player and as a coach because I have determination and passion. I'm very disciplined. So when I set a goal, I work for it. It doesn't matter the time it's gonna take, the effort. I'm gonna do it.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna do it.
Yes.
I think that's very important because it's off the field, but it's the foundation for everything else. I'm resilient. Even being here in the United States is because that I set a goal, and it was not easy, but my family and I, made it. So it was through grit, through determination and passion.
Absolutely. So, what would you be one of your biggest takeaways, especially in that moment in Mexico when you were, started coaching to when you ended coaching? What was one of like your biggest takeaway from that chapter of your coaching life?
That learning never stops, never. So if we dare to teach, we need to keep learning all the time. This is very important. I remember when I moved to the US almost 9 years ago, I didn't speak the language. I know that I still make many mistakes when I'm speaking in English, but I have learned because I try. Even being in this situation right now is challenging for me because it's in a different language. But I think that's the best way to keep improving. Sometimes we think that the opposite of success is failure, uh, and that they go in different directions. For me, it is not that way. For me, the opposite of success is not even trying, and failure is part of your success. So if you start something, you are going to have failure, but that is on your way to success. It's like right now. So I'm doing this. I know English is not my language, but if I don't try, I would not learn. So right now, I even improving while I'm doing this interview.
Absolutely. And yes, and I always tell even the kids that I coach or the people that I talk to that failure is just another lesson learned versus something bad. And I totally understand with your part as well. I'm French, so I speak French as well. So the processing in the head sometimes has to go through two, three languages before it comes out in English.
Correct. And
Yeah.
it's different when you acquire a language. If you move young to a country, you will acquire the language. But if you move when my case, I moved here when I was 38.
Yeah.
I had to learn the language. It's
Yes.
different acquiring the language that learning the language.
Absolutely, especially when then coaching, sometimes some of those conversation goes a lot quicker and faster.
Mm.
Uh,
Correct. Correct.
oh, trust me, I still find myself saying French words often, and then you have people just look at you the other way, like, "Oh, sorry, I have to translate."
Yeah, yes, correct.
Yes. So then, so looking back, so now, is there anything that you wish maybe you could have done differently in that formative time of you learning to be a coach?
No, I like my process. I think in some ways my process has been longer, but I'm happy with that. There was no rush. So I started coaching without any license, without any uh, study. I just started coaching and I enjoy it. And then I started studying, and that's the moment that I knew that I didn't know. But even though we got a lot of results. Of course, there I will do many things differently, even though we won many national championships. But looking back, I know that I did things that I was not supposed to do, like treating kids like little professional players. Because back then, for me, they were not girls; they were like little professional soccer players. So it's something that I regret. I have a great relationship with them, still with them, and they are always grateful about that experience. They never complain, but for me, it's like I should have treated them in a different way because they were kids, and I was so demanding and strict. That is something that I will change if I could.
So it sounds like maybe it was just your professional soccer player that was still out there. You saw. So
One
yes,
100%. I was very disciplined as a player.
it's like you say, it's always a learning curve. It's on this part,
Yeah.
and I've seen that you have a lot of you mentioned not starting with a lot of certifications, but now I see that you have from UEFA all the way to pro licenses. So was it that important for you to make sure that you had all of these licenses now that you've learned what you didn't know?
It's not about getting the licenses, it's about learning. Every time I go to a course, honestly, I go with the mindset of learning. I never go there in a way to show that I know something. I want to know. And it's not only about the official licenses. I'm all the time taking courses and learning from others. So I started taking courses in Mexico because that was a requirement. So you want to become a coach, you need to take the license. But once I start the first license, I fell in love with learning. So I love to learn why we do things and how we do things. That's the main thing. I love methodology. So I love to see why we do this way, or some people do it in this way. It's more about learning and being able then to transfer that to the kids, because at the end of the day, we want to benefit and we want to impact in a positive way as many kids as we can.
Yes, excellent. So yes, so through this course of learning all of this license and figuring out what you know and what you don't know, was there a one course or a mentor during that process that kind of stayed in your mind um, as you continue to coach?
Uh, all of them. I really enjoyed the academy director license by US Soccer. I learned in all of them. I think the US Soccer is doing a great job with coach education. I can compare Spain, UEFA, also Mexico. So, but for me, all of them are good. I cannot tell you which one is better. I have learned from all of them, and I have enjoyed all of them. So the content, the coach educators, the classmates. So you always learn different situations. In Mexico, I think they were the only ones that I took in Spanish. So it took me 3 years to go from the lower to the highest. So it takes 3 years. You need to put a lot of time on this and investment. But then when I moved to the US, uh, I was not required to take the license because I already hold the pro from Mexico. So that was enough to coach back then in the development academy and now the MLS Next. But I wanted to learn. That's why I got enrolled right away in the B. And I remember back then, reading was not a problem, but when the coach educators were talking, I understood half of the course
Okay.
because my English was not good enough. In fact, I think I have learned to speak English due to the licenses that have been taken because the Wi-Fi licenses were in Scotland.
Okay.
So all the licenses in the US were in English. So that was like something beneficial for me, taking the licenses here in Scotland to learn English.
Absolutely. So it looks like it was soccer and English at the same time. So it's two
Yeah,
birds with one stone there.
yeah, well,
That's good.
exactly, exactly, exactly.
Excellent. So yeah, so now we've seen that you've experienced the European soccer like and then South American and then now US methodology. So um, if you were to talk to a young coach now that's kind of starting to learn how to be a coach and is looking at those three part of the world, what would it be one thing that you kind of help them understand the difference or what's similar to those three countries?
Oof. You mean regarding the coach education or just
Or
the,
more of the methodology of the experience of the coaching on those three sides of the world.
so in Mexico, it's more about teaching you the concept. Okay, if they are gonna talk about breaking the lines or shifting or pressing high, they're gonna like teach you those concepts. Okay, in the US and in Scotland and UEFA, it's more like evaluating what you know. They still teach you, don't take me wrong, and they give you a lot of feedback, but it's more about evaluating you about these concepts, and they show you this or the other methodology, and you need to be able to apply this concept within their methodology.
Okay.
So it's kind of different, but at the end of the day, it's the same game. It's the same game, and we all play soccer. And maybe you use some words, and the other side use other words, but at the end, it's the same sport.
Yes, and one last thing, especially on the learning part of things. So, is there any, I guess, any peer coaches or guess a soccer player that you've watched play on certain level that you kind of share the learning of during those courses?
Oof, I don't remember the names. I know that in Scotland there were some former players, but honestly, I don't remember the names. And
It's probably
the, yeah,
you have a lot of certifications, so probably there's been quite a few, and
yeah. Also here, I know some classmates now are coaching also in the professional level, but I'm really bad with the names.
okay, I
My
don't.
bad.
We'll keep it top secret.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yes, yes,
So yes, so now coming all the way. So you've started in Spain and then had some time in Mexico, and now find yourself in the U.S. In California. So and then you starting to be for Albion at SC. So could you
correct.
tell us a little bit about how that started and how you are now with from what the people that I've spoken to, you got has a
Yeah.
pretty good name and have produced some great talent from
Yes.
that country.
So I was in Mexico. I was coaching at different levels. I was academy director of professional clubs, and then I moved to coach professional second division. Unfortunately, well, I was working for four different clubs in Mexico. All of them were sold while I was coaching them. So that was not the kind of situation that you are looking for when you have a family, because you need to be moving from one city to another city often. So one day, my wife, who is the boss, told me, Jonas, you are very good on what you're doing. I know that you love it, but we need some stability. Uh, can you find another kind of job, or another country? And I say, okay, I will take another country. I don't want to stop coaching. Let me see. And I start applying for different positions. I got an offer in China, uh, but my wife told me, no, we are not going to China. You need to look for another country. So I tried here in the US, and the door was open. I moved to LA uh, with a club that was called La UFA, Los Angeles United Football Academy, which is now Albion. Okay, it's the same club, but when I came here, it was a different club. Back then, they have the development academy program with the U13, U14, and U15. When the DA shut down, the club asked me to try to apply for the MLS Next, the full program. So well, I was part with another coaching staff. We create mm, a presentation for the MLS, and we presented, and we were granted with the full program. So we started playing the MLS as Laufa, and then we become Albion SC.
So yes, so especially culturally. So now knowing that, I'm in the Midwest, so they St. Louis have sort of their style of play. So if somebody were to ask you, what is your style of play for Albion SC or just the region, how would you describe that?
Well, for us in LA, we are proactive. So we want to take the initiative all the time, even when we are defending. We try to press the opponents to certain areas and regain the ball. So we are proactive. We are not a reactive team. We have a lot of diversity. We have players from all around the world. We have kids born here, but we also have Armenians, Mexicans, Russians, Italians, Korean, from everywhere. So we have a lot of diversity, and that is our context, and we need to adjust to that. But we have a lot of talent. So we are a possession based style. We are very proactive. So we want to attack, we want to have the ball, we want to press high, we want to regain the ball as soon as possible when we lose it. So that will be our philosophy when we are playing. And
Yes.
in the region is huge. The talent in California is unbelievable. You have too many players, but also very good players. I have good friends from Spain that they didn't know, and when they come here and see the level, they say, yes, the level here is huge.
Excellent. So yes, so knowing that you're more of a MLS Next team, how would you say it's, how us European and others, when we hear USA, typically is, you don't see it as a soccer nation. So how would you show that now to, maybe to the next say of how well soccer is here in the US and how many good players there is, maybe may not have the opportunity at like others.
But, but that is going to happen. I think 100 years ago, the sport number one in the US was row. You know, the row.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that was the first, the sport number one.
Wow. Yeah.
So,
Very
so
expensive one too. Yes.
yes, yes. So, but that was the number one, and also basketball. And I think soccer is growing in a really good way in the US. I think it's a matter of time. Most of our players, their parents didn't play the game,
Oh, okay.
but our players at some point are going to become parents.
Yep.
And now they're going to be talking about the game with the kids the whole time. So that is something that is going to shift, it's going to happen. I think I heard the other day that soccer is now
Number
the
three.
most practiced sport in the US.
Yep.
It's not the most followed, but it's the most practiced. So all these players are going to become parents, and that is going to change. So that's going to change. And about the talent, I think there is a lot of talent in the US, a lot of talent in the US, especially, in my opinion, as the problem comes when they turn 18 years. Okay. I have nothing against college soccer, nothing. I cannot even talk about it because I didn't play it, I didn't coach it. So I have not the experience of soccer, college soccer. However, if you have players in the system playing the MLS academies, MLS Next or MLS academies, but when they become 18, they go to college instead to pro, and they play for 4 years, for 3 months a year, you stop that development. So that's a fact. So I think that is one of the reasons why we don't have enough players in Europe at the highest level. Now, college soccer is something fantastic because for the society, most of the players in the MLS next, not even the MLS, put all the leagues together in the US, most of them will not become professional players. And it's a matter of numbers. There are not enough spots to all those players. So having the opportunity to go to college with a soccer scholarship is fantastic. It's great, and I would love to see this more in other countries because you open door for kids.
Right.
So that can change their life. So don't take me wrong. I'm very happy and grateful that players here have the opportunity to go to play college soccer. Now, in terms of development of professional players, I think there is a problem because these players are going to be playing 3 months a year for 4 years when they are 18. So you see right now Lamine Yamal playing the World Cup, playing the Euro, First Division, Copa del Rey. So at that age, and you have players here playing college. So that for me, that is a huge difference between Europe and the US on producing players.
Yep, and hopefully, the NCAA. I think they're talking about expanding it and
10
making.
months, right?
Yeah, so hopefully that will also help. And like you mentioned as well, I think it's maybe the academy level has not developed enough when MLS and USL where they can have a kid, that starts at 6 and then keep them in system all the way to help them become, I guess, the
Yes,
Lamine
but
Yamal of our days.
yes, but you see the academy level here. Every time there is the Generation Adidas Cup, most of the time, the tournament is won by MLS academies. And
Yes.
also when they go to Europe and play, most of the time they win. So the level of the academies is good. The problem is when they turn 18 and they need to choose between the professional pathway or the college pathway.
Yep. And hopefully, yes, hopefully maybe the MLS Next Pro will be able to help some of those kids that maybe are edging a little bit closer. But I do see a lot of our academy kids here, even playing in Next Pro. But since they're semi-pro, they can still go to college because the opportunity is not there just yet.
But the step from MLS Next Pro to the first team is way bigger than from the MLS Academy to the MLS Next Pro.
Yes.
So being the MLS Next Pro doesn't guarantee the player to become first team
Oh no.
players. If they get a good offer from a school, 8 out of 10 will take it.
Oh yes. And I've seen plenty of them in our academies here. I guess it's kind of hard to turn that down.
Yes,
Um,
which is not bad because it's good for the society, right? For the
yes.
kid. But in terms of developing professional players, that's a problem.
Absolutely. Yes. So as a coach of it, LX Next team, so what would you say is like during the development process of those players? What is their mentalities and um, how do you guys help them, either reach their next level?
Sorry, I didn't hear the question, the first part.
So how do you help the kids within your MLX Next pathway? How do you help them develop as the soccer players that they want to be or for the next level?
The first thing, creating an environment where players can learn. That's the first thing. Experiment and challenge themselves. So we as a coaches need to create that environment. This is the first thing. And then we have a lot of resources here at Albion, and I know many clubs the MLS environment. We have a director of college placement. His full time job is to put Albion players in college. So we have a lot of resources to do that. But first, we need to develop the player and also the human being.
Yes, and so you mentioned the development of human beings as well. So, how do you identify talent, right? Because we know you can be a great soccer player, but a not so well person, and you can be a very good person and still working on your skills. So, how is that when you kind of look for a talent?
One approach that we have here is to look at the potential and not only the current performance, because that
Okay.
can be a huge mistake. When you only see the current performance, you need to look at the potential. Okay, this player is here right now, but after a process, he can go there. That's very important. Obviously, we have players that are very talented. All of them know how to pass the ball, to dribble. They are good at one-on-one, defending, attacking. So they already have that. Uh, for me, the thing that make the difference is the decision make. Else they identify the situation, what decision they make, and how they execute the solution. So it's the decision or the perception, the decision, and the execution of the play. Is the player passing the ball when he needs to play the ball? Is he dribbling uh, off the ball? Is he in the right place if the team loses the ball, or if he in a position that he can help the team to progress the ball? So that kind of decisions is for me the most important thing. Even though if sometimes the execution is not good, but the intention was there. Then that's when I see, okay, this player is understanding the game, and for me that is extremely important.
Absolutely. Yes. So what do you say? Because what I also like to see when, players as well, we do see the on the field. But off the field, is there some characteristic like characters that you think make a certain player or
The way they introduce themselves,
okay.
that's the first one. They come to you, shake hands, look at your eyes. They say their name. They are positive. The way they talk to each other, the way they walk, even the way they dress is unbelievable. But you can see a lot of things in that behaviors, and the way he react to the feedback.
Check.
Are you talking to him? He's talking back to you. He's listening. He is welcoming the feedback. So many things in their behaviors and attitude can tell you many things. Now you also need to know that players come from different backgrounds and with different situations, and you need to be able to help all of them. Something that I always say to the coaches: we are not here to develop the best players. We are here to develop all the players. That's our job in the youth level. It's not only about I'm gonna develop the ones that I think are the best. No, no. You are here to help them, all of them. They have different situations. You cannot treat all of them the same way. All of them have the same rights and all of them have the same obligations. But the way you treat them, the way you approach them, has to be tailored. It's different to every single player. And if you do that, they're gonna notice that you care about them, and that is something important for coaches. I think you mentioned one advice in one of the previous questions is to care about the players, but genuinely care about the players. Don't use them, help them. Don't use them just because you want to win or you want to achieve something. Help the players. Listen to them. Be an active listener. Find what is the best way to talk to them. Sometimes you need to be with one player tough. You need to push him, but with the other one, you need to be in another way. You need to use guys questions. You need to guide him. With other ones, you need to lead by the example. So you need to find the best way to interact with each individual.
Yes. And and we know that you've had experience, winning and have a winning mentality. So, how do you kind of manage your team when, to a loss or a difficult game? How do you manage, those kids, those high emotions, especially?
That winning mentality for me has been hard, uh, because the translation to Spanish sounds, in my opinion, hard. I don't know how to explain this. So the winning mentality for me is a competitive mentality, because winning is something that is out of our control. I'm thinking maybe now in Spanish, and maybe people who only speak English will not agree with this, but for me, it's about competing, not winning. You're gonna do the best of your capability. You're gonna try your best. You're gonna put your resources, your time, your knowledge, your planning, uh, being honest with yourself, with the people around you, and then there are many factors that will impact the score out of your control. That's one thing. Then it's about competing, no winning. I love to win. I have won many titles, but through the experience, through the years, I have learned that they mean nothing if you were not able to influence the players of the field. So these players are gonna remember how you treat them,
Yep.
what they learn from you, and we also learn from them, because we talk about the players development, but there is also a coach development, and we learn from players. We are part of their development, but they are part of our development as well. Um, I remember in one of the playoffs with one amazing team that I had, we were winning. Last minute, they tied. We lost in Piquets. We finished the game. I took it home. I said, no problem. It's part of the game. The season is over, but it was a wonderful moment, blah, blah, blah. And everybody was relaxed. But when I went back to the hotel, I started crying like a baby, like a baby. I, I couldn't stop crying and crying and crying and crying, but I didn't know why. I didn't know why. It was not because we lost. I was pretty sure about that. And I called my wife, and I don't know, but I cannot stop crying. I don't know what happened, and I find out it was my last game with them. I had been coaching them for 3 years. That was my last game, but I didn't realize it after we lost the game. I realized it when I went back to the audience. So it was more about the connection that I made with the players than winning or losing the games. It was the journey, the whole journey. And for me, this is very important. And that's why sometimes parents only want to win. And I try to explain to them that, yes, it's wonderful to win, but there are more important things than just winning. If we win, it's fantastic. We all together win, but the process, the journey, how we struggle, how we have improved, how we have created a relationship among ourselves, that's very rewarding. I hope more parents can enjoy that process as well.
Wow, you actually took my next question pretty much. That was going to be my next question on with parents' expectations and others. So, Coach, looking at you took care of that question. And I think one thing that you kind of brought up is one of the big thing that I remember from my coaches was the same thing that you kind of mentioned, the firm handshake, look your coach in the eyes and introduce yourself. That's like the first introduction for your coach. And with my experience as coaching, I think the big moment, so big moment you will mention is when you have like one of your former coach players that you have not seen and they still, coach me, Coach Mo, and then they will call you Coach Jonas. So is there one of those moments where you see one of your former players that, when you talk to them, they don't even talk about soccer. It's something
Exactly.
else that you've learned. Is there one of those
Exactly.
moments that you hold dear to you?
So many, I have many of them with current players, but used to bring back the group of girls that I had when I was coaching in Mexico 20 years ago. The other day, the school uh, invite one of the students who started in the school from kinder one to uh, 12. So he was there the whole process of the school. And they interview her. And the only thing she talked about was when she was in grade six with the team and with the coach Jonas, and they went to Brazil representing Mexico. I was not expecting that. That happened 20 years ago. They interviewed her for 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 being there her her whole life, and for her, the most important thing at the school was that moment with the soccer team. So I said, wow, so we are impacting lives. And there I have a lot of them here in the US when people reach out to me. They talk about the human being, not only the coach, how I made them feel, how I help them to, to work hard for their goals, and not only on the field, but also off the field. And leading by the example is also important.
Absolutely. Yes. I always like to kind of bring those moments because I think most of the histories that I have, it's my coaches that I kind of almost taught us how to be kids, be teenagers, and the adults that we are now. So that's why I always like to show love to our coaches. And the last part, especially when it comes to the human side of things, right? Um, it's a high level, soccer when you're playing. There's the emotions. Um, Once all said and done, what is one thing that you want, not only the players, but also the parents that will say about Coach Jonas?
So I think sometimes parents put too much pressure on their child's performance. Um, as I have seen this situation many times. They wait to the practice. There are some parents that are taking that moment like something very special that they are gonna remind for the rest of their life, creating a connection with their kids when they are going to practice, being there with them at practice, and then go back home. So they're taking that moment like a connection moment, and they don't care about the game, and that is fantastic because you are creating a relationship with your son, and soccer is used as excuse, okay? But there are parents that all the way are telling him, I'm doing a great effort. I just go out of work. You better do your best at practice and spending this money in this club and doing a lot of effort. And so they're talking that way. And then if the player does not good at practice or during the game, now it's all the way back. And even worse, if the money is there, there is an argument between the parents because the kid's performance in a training or game. Now the kid is trying to think like, okay, I joined this club and this sport because I love it. I want to play and enjoy with my friends. I have a good moment. But now I'm connecting this situation with my parents fighting or arguing because my performance. So I'm gonna stop playing soccer because this is bringing me problems instead of joy. So that is something the parents needs to take into account. let the kids play. Your role is to support them, take them to practice, pay the club fares, support them. That's your real job. Then let them struggle, because after that struggle, they're gonna grow, and let them enjoy the game. That's very important. You want to help your kid, instead of telling him what he did bad or well. Just ask them questions like, "How do you feel after the game? What could you have done better? What will you do the next time?" That kind of questions is gonna help him to do a self reflection, to identify situations that he needs to improve, and then also also to celebrate things that he has done well. If you as a parent do that with your kid, you're gonna help him a lot, and not only for soccer, because then in life he's gonna be asking the same question in other environments. So honestly, parents need to support their kids in that way instead of putting them under a lot of pressure.
Oh, it sounds familiar because since my son also played club soccer, and I think there's always some parents that have that says, "Well, Mo, you don't say anything on the sideline. You know, you kind of sometimes I move my head left and right because of the former player. You try to you think you're going to affect the ball by your movement, but I literally don't say nothing during the game because I know the coach is doing his job. Even though I'm a coach, but we understand that we don't want to see parents on the sideline try to kind of confuse the kids. So they always laugh at me because I move, but this is all I say. But it's the time where we also confuse the kids while they're on the field, right? If you the coach is giving one instruction, the parents is giving another instruction, they're confused, something bad happens, and then it's the kids that remembers that moment. So I totally understand what you
But
mean by that.
but it's not only during the game of the practice; it's also before
Yeah.
and after the practice. And there is the problem. I have a situation with this, and I'm gonna share it with you guys.
Yes.
And allow, because when this happened, I asked the dad, "Can I share this with our parents?" And he told me, "Yes, of course." So we had a player who came to practice at the end of the last season, and during practice he was doing fantastic. But then when the season started and we started playing games, he was a different player. And all the year, his level was not as expected, because during practices, he was doing fantastic. During the games, he was not doing that good. So at the end of the season, I didn't send the form to
Just evaluate.
to keep the player one. So I told him, I need to talk to you first before making the commitment of having your son in the team for the next season. So we have a conversation, and I told him, I think in some way, I haven't seen you yelling at your son at all in any game, but I think in some way you are putting some pressure on your kid. It can be when you are going to the practice or when you are going back home. There is something, and I think that's why your kid is not playing at that level, at the level that he showed during practices at the game. And he told me, okay, I want to help my son. What can I do? And I say, let's try one thing. Stop attending practices and games. And he say, okay, I will do it. So we start the preseason, and the player become the leading goal scorer in the team during the preseason.
Yes.
So we were like, what happened here? The dad was not there. And now, after the player get more confident, the parents came back, and now he's still the leading goal scorer in the team during the current season. Not only the preseason, but now the current season. So there was a shift, fantastic shift from the player. But the parent has all the credit, because when I talked to him, he didn't take it personal.
Yeah.
And he told me, there might be something that I'm doing bad. I'm going to follow your instruction and let's see what happened. And it worked. So, but there was a collaboration. There was a talk between the dad and myself, but the dad didn't take it wrong. he was there to support his son. So that is something, hopefully, serves as an example of what parents can do sometimes.
Okay, so
And of
yeah,
course,
so
the parent is attending the games now because we want the parent to enjoy the moment, of
yeah,
course.
yeah, and so it looks like so for any parents here is like so it's more of a collaboration with the coach as well. It's not just the kids is on the field and the coach is being coached. It's more a village. It takes a village to raise a kid, and that's
Correct.
pretty
Correct.
much that
Correct.
process. And
Correct.
and from what I understand here, so it looks like a lot of it, soccer wise, yes, the skill is being, graded and viewed by many people, but the mental aspect of the game looks like it's almost like 80% of the what makes a player. And I kind of like the way you mentioned where, you kind of went to the parents and, kind of explaining to them how um, the little experiment that you've put together. So it's quite interesting. I will have to keep that in mind for other people.
Yes, yes, that was a moment. The intention was not to deny the opportunity to the parent to watch their kid. It was to support the player. The parent took it that the dad took it that way. It works, and now the coach is happy, the player is happy, the dad is happy, so the teammates are happy. So there was a huge chance of the kids' performance.
Okay, so now we can call you Coach Jonas, but also psychologist Jonas because it looks like
No, no.
um, that was a little sports psychology that you've used, and it worked twice so far.
Yes, there was a shift when I started coaching that I understood that winning was not everything. So, and I think it's very rewarding when you see the players knowing that you care about them. For me, that's very important. So, and then you don't have to be forcing things. Now they buy in your philosophy, your idea. It takes time, but that will last because when you force them, they can have an immediate impact, but that will not last. And if you go the other way around, that you invest time, you show them that you care, that we are here to together try to pull in the same direction, and they notice that there is a real care about them, honest care, they will buy in and they will do their best by convincing.
Excellent. So yes, so before we jump to the five fun questions that I always have at the end of the interviews, so for the last four aspiring coaches, right? So you've experienced pretty much three countries, two continents, when as a player and as a coach. So what would be your advice to inspiring soccer coaches?
Enjoy what you are doing. That's very important. Enjoy what you are doing, and it means I never say, tomorrow is Monday and I have to go to work. No, no, no. I say, I go to practice tomorrow. I really enjoy it. So I don't feel that I even work. So I go to the field or whatever I need to do related to the club or the players or the coaching staff. I really enjoy it. So when I took a license, I enjoy in that situation. When I go to a tournament, I enjoy in that situation. So I really enjoy what I'm doing. So that way it's easier for everyone. So I don't. There is people that like their job. No, no, no. I am working on what I decided, and I'm living the dream. I'm living the dream. So enjoy that because once you enjoy something, everything is gonna be easier. You are gonna it, you are gonna invest more time. You are gonna do better. You are gonna planning better. You will not have problem to talking to parents or players. So for me, enjoying is the most important, and then be responsible. Be honest with yourself and with others. Because when I was academy director first, I used to look at resumes first and licenses and everything, but you know that knowledge is acquirable. So when I look at coaches, okay, are they responsible? Are they always on time? Uh, Do they have good manners with players? Uh, the way they communicate with the players, can you see if they care about them or not? So that kind of things are more important. Okay, and then the knowledge they can acquire through the licenses, through the experience, through books, to peers, to many other options. But first, they need to have those qualities.
Excellent, excellent. So yes, I like those. So now we're going to jump into some fun questions to kind of get this out. So you're in LA, correct? So are you
Correct.
a LA Galaxy or LAFC fan?
I think I'm more LAFC.
LAFC, okay, all right. Any particular players?
No, but we started a relationship when we were Lafa with them.
Okay,
And so I have been in the stadium in all places and the stadium everywhere. So then now with the new academy director, he's also from Spain, so we have a good relationship.
okay,
I also have a good relationship with Galaxy and the academy director. But I have been involved with LFC often. We have players from Albion in both academies, but more
nice.
in LAFC. So there is like a relationship that has grown since.
Okay, so it's more than a preference. You have the connection between those clubs. So that's good. Yes. So when it comes to the World Cup is coming now.
You know the
So
answer.
yeah.
You know the answer.
So I'll say who will how will Spain do? We're going to just that put it down.
Champions, champions,
Champion.
pretty champions.
Not
Yes,
nothing more. Nothing less.
nothing, nothing more. It's very difficult to
Okay.
be a world champion, but I think they have the level to do it. Of course, there are many other countries and national teams, and but also again, it's not the winning doesn't only depend on them.
Yeah.
It's many situations, but I think I really like the way Spain play. It's not only about winning; it's about the philosophy, the style of play. I think that is what makes Spain different.
Okay. All right. So yes, I guess I'll have to keep in contact since I will be going for France. But
Of course,
so it's going to be a fun conversation, especially if they meet in the final. Um. So so you have Spain, Mexico, and the U.S. when it comes
yeah,
to
yes,
food,
that
right?
will be great.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. So food wise,
yes.
could you
Oof.
could you tell? I won't I won't have you say which one's better because that will be a lot of trouble. But could you tell me one meal that you must have in Spain, one in Mexico, and one in the US?
Okay, as all the food is fantastic, but I'm gonna keep it simple.
Yes.
So in Spain, it's something called mm, I don't know how to say king's eggs. So
Say in Spanish.
kings
It's
like
fine.
the king. Uh, 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 huevos de rey, or you can also call it huevos rotos. It's like broken eggs. It's potato
Okay.
with fried eggs, but you know jamon serrano
Yes.
with serrano ham fried
Okay.
on top. That is a good bread. That is fantastic. I'm from Asturias. We have fabada. We have many options, but that is very simple, but it's delicious. So I can eat that every single day.
Okay.
Okay. In Mexico, any kind of tacos,
Okay.
any kind of taco, but there are many. There is one called taco cecina. Is beef. Well, but the tortilla has to be handmade. That's very
Okay.
important with cream and cheese. I don't need anything else. And from here, I really enjoy when I went to Kansas
Okay.
and tried the barbecue.
Okay.
That was really good. The barbecue was fantastic.
All right. So I guess I don't know how much you know about St. Louis and Kansas City. There's
Yes,
a lot of rivalry. So
yes,
but yes, but I also lived in Kansas City. So yes, barbecue, they have it very well. Um
very well.
So now knowing, so have you been to St. Louis, or have you had a chance, or are you familiar with? Um,
No, only Kansas City when I took the licenses there.
okay, all right. So I guess our goal will be to have you maybe if LAFC or LA Galaxy play in St. Louis.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
I will love it.
we'll have a seat for you when you come to town.
Thank you so much.
And
Thank you so much.
the last one, last question, it's pretty much for you of is there anything that you would like to share with, people from in LA in California, but also across the Midwest about Albion SC and who you guys are?
Well, we are a club that has run a lot in the US. Obviously, I in charge of Albion SC Los Angeles, but there are Albions everywhere.
Okay.
Yesterday, I think they announced that there is a new Albion in Utah,
Okay.
and they are the people behind Albion is very professional. The people in the front office is very professional. Noah James, who is the CEO, and Mark, uh, they have surrounded themselves with professional people. So uh, Albion brought to us because we're Laufa that professionalism in the front office. They have process for everything to recruit, and to do tryouts, and, to promote players to college. Professional process for everything. Very happy of working at Albion.
Yep.
Every Albion also has his own mm, culture. Every Albion, LA Albions, San Diego, they have a lot of things in common, but also we have our own spirit. So we have the freedom to add our own versions of things. So it's very rewarding, that situation. So we have process for everything, but we can also add value to every single process.
Oh, excellent. So yeah, so pretty much they have their philosophy, and then depending on which region of the country, you have your own tailored experience. And I think that definitely helps with the soccer culture and making sure that um, there's one philosophy being followed. So, Coach Jonas, definitely appreciate your time. I think you are the first coach on the LA side that have joined me. Um, and especially when I started all of this podcasting, the LA Galaxy and LAFC fans were the first one to reach out. So it's always a pleasure to have a West Coast to um, talk soccer slash football with me.
Yes, thank you so much. I really enjoyed this time. Hopefully, it was something that can help more people. I enjoyed the chat.
Excellent. Yes. So I will make sure to put your contact information with everyone um, on the description here. And with that said, do you have any final words?
Thank you so much. Again, I really enjoyed this. Thank you for the invitation and all the best and all the success for you and your program.
My pleasure. Excellent. Thank you all for all joining another episode of MoFutbol from grassroots all the ways to the pros. And we look forward to seeing you again with another episode very soon.
Okay.
Alrighty. All right. Thank you for your time. Hopefully, we didn't make too many changes. Um,
No, it
but
was
yes, it
very good.
was a
Thank you.
fun
It
interview.
was challenging. Hopefully the English was good enough for your purposes. I can hear you.
Alrighty. So
Yes, yes.
pretty much good to go. And You know what? All enough.
Okay, thank you so much. Have a great day.